I have a confession. I used to have a really good sense of style that somehow went out the window because it just was so hard to make time to go shopping. And even doing online shopping and returns, it seriously stresses me out. And that's why I love Armoire, because it lets me rent high quality designer clothing for every occasion and regain my sense of style. Whether you're planning your outfit for a date night, packing for a conference, or in need of a gown for a black tie event, you will be the best dressed person in a room without ever having to brave a fitting room with fluorescent lights, which is my literal nightmare. What I love about Armoire is that the more I rent, the more on point the suggestions get, and Armoire starts to know my style and what will fit well. Right now, our listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 50% off their first month. That's up to $125 off. Just visit armoire.style/dateable. That's armoire.style, ARMOIRE.style/dateable to get up to 50% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today.
Hello, Dateable fam. Quickie with me, UA, but we're going to keep this lighthearted. I actually think this topic is the exact opposite of what you would think of when you think of a quickie. We're talking about bathroom anxiety, or more specifically, poop anxiety. I'm very interested in this topic. Maybe you aren't. Maybe you're turned off. If you are, hey, you know what? You do you. You can move on. But I think a lot of people find this topic interesting. We just don't talk about it enough. Early dating and pooping. It's kind of a big deal. To me, it's kind of a big deal. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because recently I was talking to a friend and she was going on a trip with a guy that she wasn't exactly dating, but had some sort of romantic interest in. And it was the first time they were going on a trip together, and it was going to be 10 days sharing one bed, one hotel. And immediately my butt clenched because I couldn't help but think, oh my God, how is she going to poop? No, seriously, if you're early dating, you're just like getting to know each other. To me, that is so anxiety inducing. I would be trying to hold my poop or trying to find other opportunities to poop. I've done many creative things when it comes to pooping around a new partner, such as going down to the hotel lobby, or they go out for coffee and I just try to poop as fast as I can. I mean, I've done it all. And I've definitely held it too, to the point where I'm pretty sure I had stomach issues, like complete constipation. So I said this to her and she thought it was so strange. She's like, what do you mean? Why is that a big deal? Like, I pooped and he pooped and we didn't talk about it, but like we pooped. And I was like, did you know that he actually pooped? And she's like, well, I wasn't exactly looking for it, but I assumed in those 10 days he pooped. And I certainly pooped as soon as I woke up. And it's not like I announced it. And I'm like, yeah, of course you're not announcing it, but were you trying to be discreet? And she's like, no, I just poop like I normally do. So I wake up, I go brush my teeth, and I poop. And it blew my mind because I guess it is that simple. If you are regular, it's probably just that simple. It just comes out of your system. Like, of course, you don't have to announce it. You don't have to be like, I am pooping now. But you also, I guess afterwards, I would think about trying to be as discreet as possible. So I would want to have everything prepped. Like, for example, on the trip that I went to earlier this year with my partner, I mean, we were like very early in dating and we were sharing the same hotel room, obviously. And I brought like poopery and I brought a really good smelling shampoo to add onto the poopery. I mean, I have a whole system. And I've also learned techniques like you cover the entire toilet with your butt so you seal the odor in. Again, let me tell you, I go to great lengths to be discreet about my bathroom behavior in early dating, that is. And she just thought that was just like the strangest thing. She's like, why would you want to do that to your body? And why would you want to be so uncomfortable? Just poop naturally. So we were comparing notes about what our upbringings are like. And, you know, I'm an only child. I did not grow up sharing a bathroom with anybody. Until this day, I still prefer not to share a bathroom with anybody, including my partner. And she grew up with siblings, always shared bathrooms. They would talk about each other's poop and describe what their poop was like. I mean, she was like so close to her siblings, and they still like text each other about the health of their poops. So I just found this completely mind-blowing that someone can be so free with their bathroom behavior. And it didn't even cross her mind that something like this would be so anxiety inducing for someone. And she actually found it really surprising that I thought it was just so crazy. Like it was such a big deal that they were sharing a bathroom and she wasn't trying to be discreet. So then I want to really dig into this. Okay. The investigative reporter in me thought, I need to know, am I in the majority or is she in the majority? So I went on the dark web. When you search for poop anxiety, let's just say some articles are useful and most of it is porn. So maybe just don't search for it. I did the legwork for you. But there were so many articles, especially Cosmopolitan and BuzzFeed articles about bathroom anxiety, poop anxiety, and people having it or people not having it, and people having different thoughts about it. I mean, there's a whole Reddit thread about some people saying like, what's the big deal? And other people being like, oh my God, I've been with my partner for 10 years and I've never talked about pooping in front of him. I also remember I had this old coworker back in the day. He told me he and his wife back then had already been together for 10 years, married for 10 years. And he said she still peed with the faucet on because she didn't want him to hear her peeing. And they're from like the deep South. So he said that was kind of common in his family too. Like the women just are very discreet about anything that they do in the bathroom. And I thought that was a little bit much. But then I talked to another girlfriend and she also is in the same camp as me. She gets very nervous about pooping in early dating. And she told me about this time this one trip she went on with a guy she had just started seeing, and they were actually meeting his family and they were all sharing a cabin for the weekend. And she was so constipated because she also didn't want to poop in front of his family. And so when they got back to the hotel, I guess they all went out and she was left alone in the hotel. She was finally able to poop, freely, I guess. And she was so constipated, she clogged up the toilet and they had to call maintenance. So it ended up being kind of embarrassing, the what happened after. It's like still so funny to talk about all of this. And I'm very curious what you all think about this topic because I've gone down the rabbit hole. I've even looked for studies about just like, general views about pooping. And I guess there was like a study done in 2019 where 52% of daters said that they would not poop at their date's house if it's like within the first 3 months of dating. So yeah, it's kind of like a split opinion. And then also more women are shy about pooping than men are. And I had to take inventory of the people I've been with. I've never had a partner fart in front of me. I've never had a partner openly talk about pooping in front of me. Obviously, like with the men that I've lived with, it becomes kind of your daily conversation sometimes when you've been living together a few years, and it's kind of entertaining. I think it's like when you get to that point in a relationship, it's so liberating. At least for me, it's so liberating to finally just, I am able to announce that I am going to the bathroom. I am going to poop and not be embarrassed about it. But it took years to get to that point. I still remember the first man I lived with. This was when I was like 25 and first time ever living with a boy. And I think it took me a year before I could even poop with him in the apartment. And we shared a New York City 1-bedroom apartment together. I don't know how I did that, but I think I held it for a year. Thank God I don't do that anymore because hell, I'm all about being regular. I think health is number one here. But back in the day, I really was so cautious about that. And there was this great episode on Sex and the City where Carrie, I don't know if y'all remember this, but Carrie's with Big and they've been hooking up and it's pretty new. And she accidentally farts in bed. And she's just fucking mortified. And she like goes under the covers and he's like, it's probably worse under there. And then she comes back out and she tells all her girlfriends how mortified she was. But her point was, I want him to think I'm perfect. perfect still. I'm still trying to hold up this ideal image of who I am. I still want him to think of me as this non-pooping, non-farting angel. But at what point do you break that and show the real, authentic you? Maybe it has to do with how you were raised and you've observed in your family. I feel like my parents really don't have boundaries around bathroom anything, but they've been together for, 40 plus years. So yeah, at some point that's all got to break, right? Or are there relationships where you just keep everything separate? I also have read some people feel like there are certain things you just want to keep to yourself, like certain things that you just want to make it your own and that you don't need to share with your partner, like your phone and your poop. And those are just the boundaries that you're drawing, which is fine too, right? There's no right or wrong in any of this, and I'm not judging any of this. I just find this extremely fascinating because people have such strong opinions one way or the other, and I want to hear from you all. Where do you stand when it comes to bathroom behavior in the first 3 months of dating? How comfortable are you talking about it, doing it with your partner around, do it in front of your partner? Oh yeah, I also had a friend who said he and his girlfriend, because they were friends before, so they were like best friends turned into a relationship. He said they would poop with the door open and have deep conversations like that. I don't know if I can get to that ever. I don't know. I could be with someone for like 80 years and I don't think I could poo in front of them with the door open and still talk. But maybe AI toilets by then will be so great. They'll just eliminate the odor and turn your poop into a song or something. And then it becomes really enjoyable to sit there with the door open. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. Oh, I hope you weren't eating when you were listening to this. But if you were, sorry, I warned you. That's my quickie. I want to hear from you. Why don't you, if you can, I'm so curious what you think. You can leave us a rating and review in Apple Podcasts. In the body of your review, you can tell us what you think. Where do you stand? Or you can just email us, DM us on Instagram at Dateable Podcast, or email us hello@dateablepodcast.com. If you don't want to go to the Dateable account, because Julie will always also see that too, if you want to keep it private between you and me, yeah, you can DM me. Just DM me at nonplatonic. If you just want to tell me privately what you think, I respect that as well. All right, that's it for this quickie. I'll see you all very soon.
Before you leave this episode, just a reminder to head over to dateablepodcast.com/programs if you want to get in on our Meeting People IRL Masterclass and see what else we have in store.